Morning all, welcome to Kicking Dust. It's the morning after the Sunday before where the clones were killed and the mountain of skulls was piled high. And I'm bringing you a fake tanker part 2. This is it was a good match, there's only 3 of us. It was Rem, myself and Spademan, and we were basically just arsing around really. And what we were trying to do, oh yeah, we've forgotten, Happy Hobbit as well. What we were trying to do was just, I don't know, have a good few matches really, and I was tanking on my own, which is something I don't well, I guess I do it relatively often, but usually there's always support. And I've got to admit, I quite like tanking solo because it's quite an adrenaline rush. It's also a bit of a rage rush when you lose stuff, so I'm going to admit now I raged quite a bit when I lost my first tank in about 3 minutes. And it was funny really because I think the Million Clone event has brought out a lot of decent people, and I know by the time this is released it will probably be a week past that time, but let's just retrospectively look at it because it was such a good event because it did push numbers high. It actually got 5,000 people on the game, which is sweet, and 5,000 plus rather, and it was pretty awesome. A lot of redline railgunners though, that was very annoying, and this is just a general fact: if you call in a Seeker railgun on the red line and shoot from it, you're not a good player, because you're basically saying to me that you can't take me on 1v1. Just saying, bro, just saying. So what I do here is I kind of try and flank round to get that redline railgun tank, and lo and behold, it ran to the red line. Flippin' heck. This is the problem with maybe the game at the moment, is there's a lot of annoyance with railguns. I'm surprised people use railguns so much. I know they're good, but me versus a railgun, I would probably pick me. Okay, not in all places, and I lose my first encounter in this match, but I think pretty much every encounter after that I kill railguns like crazy. And I think the only thing that I'm really scared of is missile launchers, if I'm honest. Blasters don't worry me much either as well. So to me, I think it's a funny one that so many people use railguns. I guess it's because they are good, obviously. So as you see, as I crest the hill here, that railgun tank, that's a Seeker, I think. Yep, Seeker. And he manages to kill a full Proto Madruga in seconds with a militia railgun CCP. You probably want to do something about this pretty fucking quick. Anyway, it's just the way it is. What can you do? Call in another tank, then we shoot some rats in the barrel. It does make me laugh. One thing, there are a few things that annoy me, and let's talk about them. Railguns are obviously one of them. I would just reduce their damage by half, and I would make them wildly inaccurate over 100 meters. Sorry, I would. They're ruining the game at the moment. Secondly, I would make blasters half the damage against infantry. They're too powerful against infantry. But leave them good against tanks, because I use blasters to take on tanks. I find it's what I enjoy. To me, blasters and tanks against tanks is incredible fun. And particularly when you find 2 blaster tanks, as you'll see towards the end of this video, shooting each other, that is exactly what blasters should be used for. I would just make it so infantry have a 50% resist to all blaster damage per se, and make it because the guns are unwieldy, so the chances are the shot isn't going to be accurate against infantry who are fast moving and such. I would do that, I really would. I just think, I know I shoot the odd infantryman in my tank, but it's fair to say the majority of my focus is always on other tanks. I use my blaster tank to kill other tanks. And I know that too many people use railguns at the moment, so I would make them shitter, that is, and I would make blasters also slightly shitter, but maybe even better against vehicles, so you get a much better kind of vehicle v vehicle thing going. I think that needs to be done, I really do. I think just too many people are relying on railguns being, just incredibly powerful, easy pieces of shit to use, and I think I would just remove the accuracy, because then that fixes the whole problem with redline railgunning, because it's not accurate enough. I'd make it literally inaccurate over 100 meters. And I think I would also then look at other things. So, for example, I hate it when you kind of start shooting dudes and they start jumping. It really bothers me. It's not realistic. It's pretty pathetic. Some games have always had this issue, but I think games like Counter-Strike used to have this issue, bunny hopping, I guess. But lo and behold, they fixed it, well, relatively, because they made it so that your second jump is only a little stagger. So you can jump once full, and then your second jump is a stagger. I would honestly do that in this game. They remove, or rather reduce, strafing of scouts because they were able to strafe unrealistically. Now the next thing they need to do is to make it so infantry can't jump 5-6 times in a row to avoid fire. It's unrealistic and bullshit, and it needs to go. So what else annoys me? No, those are probably the big ones. I think, you know, the game at the moment is good. It feels great, and after a day of playing Titanfall yesterday, I still came back to Dust, and I think this is something that I really would stress is the key success factor of Dust is it just feels a lot more solid. Okay, Titanfall is a great game, but it does feel so superficial. It's like PlanetSide. It feels like a plastic shooter. It feels like everything is not very strong. It feels like everything is very weak. Everything is so fast as well, which is slightly annoying because it's almost too fast to actually enjoy. So I honestly think that is why Titanfall will do well, but it's a game that you'll play for an hour, then you'll get bored of, and then you'll log into Dust and you'll play that for 3 or 4 hours. Do you know what I mean? And that has got to be if CCP could bottle that and sell it to other gaming companies, they would make billions, because not many games have got that feeling of, I don't know, solidness, and I don't know, I couldn't describe it, but it just feels very, very enjoyable. And in Titanfall, it's impossible to track people. I don't know how people do it. And when you see the kill cams of people literally tracking you perfectly, it's like, are you using an aimbot, bro? But it does feel like that sometimes. But whereas in Dust, you feel as if you're being rewarded for your skills somewhat. Obviously there is aim assist in this game, but I don't think it's to the point where it in Titanfall feels incredibly ridiculously overpowered. Anyway, we'll see. I think good games, they're all good fun, and I think there's going to be a hell of a a future for Dust, it seems, as well, with all of the stuff coming. So cloaking, that's going to change the game pretty significantly as well. I'm curious to see how that's going to work. And I just think generally it's going to be quite cool. So, hopefully everyone's enjoying Dust. If you're not playing it and you're just watching the videos, just make sure you've got your character ticking over with the right skill sets or whatever you do, just set that up. Because eventually you'll come back, I'm sure, and you'll probably have a bit of a riot when you do. Now, one thing I would say that is akin in both games is there's not enough things to do. Titanfall obviously has a campaign and a classic mode and all this, but in essence it's still a multiplayer shooter. Okay, so you're not really doing much. It's all the same PvP stuff, and literally after a day of playing PvP games yesterday, my mind was starting to go, because I was getting so angry and ragey. I must apologise to the gang because I was screaming and shouting at the top of my voice because it was just frustrating to have to fight dudes continually. And what I thought was interesting was there was something quite nice about the idea of doing a commander mode, like you get in Dawn of War. I've mentioned this many times, but it's just the ability to fight NPCs. Apparently, Delboy was telling me that Halo has this mode as well, and it's just where you fight literally NPCs and they come at you. I would love for that to be in this game, and I'm hoping that's what PvE and Rogue Drones will be. But if they make, this is a warning to CCP, if you make PvE linked to PvP, I'm going to cry, because I'm so sick and tired of fighting bros all the time. Sometimes you want to take your squad of 6 out of that match that you've just played, the 10th time versus the same tryhards, and you want to go and just do something with that group of 6. You can do it in Eve, you can go and rat, mine, whatever, but you can't do it in this game yet. And I think if this game is going to be, if more people are going to play this and stay with this game, they need to be able to get away from the thing that makes them mad at the game, which is other players. Just saying, bro. So there we go. Interesting one. I lost 1 tank, but I killed quite a bit. And I don't know, tell me, post in the comments how many tanks did I kill then, because it felt like quite a few, maybe 4 or 5, something like that. But I must stress, it was amazing fun. And I would think that this is a great advert for the game over things like Titanfall, because it does have such a fluid, solid feel to it. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.